In the dark, creatures crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, an abyss protects you. In the light, goddess of the sun brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man. Become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get a lot mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so exposed. A morning star is seen in our side. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get a lot mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this. We rise higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up. We are the kings, we're the queens. We are the gods, gods of soft this land and nation. Turn on the walls, make it our mark. 'Cause we are the kings, we're the queens. Let's win this war.
What is going on, Governors? Chiskel here, and today I'm joined by none other than the esteemed Pilato to cast the Osiris League Grand Finals. It's round one of the finals with 93T and 60GT. Pilato, how are you, and how hyped are you for today's match?
I'm doing well, Chiskel, and this match is going to be a barn burner. Yet again, 93T, 60GT, a rematch of the last Grand Finals, a rematch of the semifinals in the Grand Prix, a rematch of the KVK that just happened. Let's see who will win this time.
Nice, man. Way to bring the hype. Yeah, this is going to be good. So, you know, I guess fire is going to be the metaphor we're going to just use all over this cast. This is going to be fire, man. You've got 93T and 60GT, both of whom are extremely experienced from a caster standpoint, from a spectator standpoint. This is like exactly the kind of match you want to see. Two extremely experienced teams that have a bunch of tricks up their sleeves, right? And maybe that's what we talk about for just a minute before we go in to spectate the match, which, by the way, it will be open to spectators in 3 minutes from now. But each of these teams has things that they are known for. Should I just talk about what they are, or do you want to guess what I'm thinking, and then I'll share? How do you want to do this?
Hey, man, you go off about what each of these teams are thinking, because I feel like it changes from season to season.
All right.
See what happens
all
right
right
now.
So 93. Okay, I have on multiple occasions called it 93ing the arc. Right? So what do I mean by that? 93 is known for potentially losing the mid fight, but winning the arc anyways. They 93'd the arc, okay? They do this all the time, and yet they still surprise people when they do it. So I just want to talk about how that is one of the things they do really well. Obviously, also Master Strategist is a part of their game plan, okay? On the other side, you've got 60GT, and they surprised everybody by using a combination of skills that actually had been used, as I understand it, in the Chinese Rise of Kingdom servers, where they were able to get 12 points worth of skills in a mid-fight. That is disgusting. So each of these teams has brought some different tricks to Osiris League. And now the question is, hey, among them, who's the best? And in the grand finals, what's kind of neat is the playing field is leveled, is it not? So same troops, same equipment, same armaments, same inscriptions, it's all same. So I don't know. Would you have guessed those things I was going to say, Plato?
Yeah, I mean, 93-teeing the arc. I feel like we've casted so many games where it feels like the arc has pretty much gone out of the grasp. The biggest one being JST in that finals about, I think, last season. And then them just being able to somehow miraculously get that arc every single time. The 12 points that you brought up, though, Chisco, I predicted 2489 to win that series, but that 12-point play literally won 60GT the series. Of course, it was also, a lot of things building up to that point, but that was a catalyst. That was the big win for them. And we'll have to see if 932 has some counterplay to it, or if 60GT will be able to pull that out yet again.
Yes, sir. I'm getting my caffeine ready here, so I've got plenty of energy. But honestly, once the match starts, there's going to be so much hype. My official Rise of Kingdoms mug, by the way, I got in the meetup in Germany. This thing's awesome. This double C on there. How cool is that? Anyways, I'm hyped for this match. We actually can join in to spectate it in just a matter of seconds. And when this match begins, Plato, what should we be looking for? And hey, look, I'll give you my thought, which is that I think it's going to be a very vanilla opener. It's the arc fight that's going to get really interesting. But what do you think about this opening?
Yeah, I think the opening will be pretty standard. 93T, though, tends to focus the outer lane structures a lot more in the beginning of the match, just so that there is some pressure on 60GT in case they do take an alter from 60GT in the outer lane, kind of make them second guess, hey, do we give up the 750 first occupation points, or do we go for the mid rotation? Outside of that, I feel like it'll be pretty standard. But yes, that first mid fight is going to be interesting to see which team uses what skills and how much they prioritize that first arc compared to the rest of them.
Amazing. Well, let's jump in game real quick, and we'll keep hypothesizing here on what we think is going to happen. So, they're loading in as we speak. I think this first arc is where the fire is going to be. And whoever gets this first arc really gets to set the pace of the match. Do you think one of these teams is going to go building strat instead of going for the arc?
I don't think so. Both of these teams have had heavy priority on this first arc. If there was going to be a team that goes building strat, it would be 93T, in my opinion.
Completely agree.
I feel like their whole strategy, pretty much throughout their entirety, throughout all of their championships, has been controlling the pace of the arcs, trying to get as many arcs as possible or as few arcs as possible, depending on how they're doing in buildings, and winning from there.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to pick a team to go building, it would be 93 if there were to be a team that goes building strat. I think that the team that is most likely to surprise us is 93. I think the team that is most likely to stick to the core mechanics is 60GT. Go mid, win the arc, win the game. I think that is generally the GT game plan. Looks like almost everybody's loaded in here. And for those that are newer to Ark of Osiris, the order in which you enter the map does matter. It determines your placement. And teams like these have optimized even that aspect of the gameplay such that they'll have people in the front that need to be in certain places, people in the back that maybe are more likely to port up first. They'll have you next to the rally that you're joining, if you're joining a rally at the start. I mean, an incredible, truly shocking amount of preparation goes into these matches.
Yeah, it's just so much preparation, so much practice. And I feel like whoever wins this game, wins this series, will be whichever team has practiced more as the gates have finally opened.
Sir, there it is. Boom, battle started. Energetic for both teams here. A classic opener by both teams. I mentioned this previously, but I generally think that skills that are sort of mandatory, that every team is using the same way, probably get adjusted between this season and the next season of Osiris League. Just guessing. We do see some siege marches going out here, and those are Cleopatra and Joan gathering marches. So right off rip, right in the front, we've got some gatherers on their way out there, and we can look if there's some symmetry here on the opposing side. I don't see any siege marches from 1960.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it is, right?
I think that indicates that perhaps 93T is trying to pull a 1960 on 1960 with the 12-point strat, just having so many gathers out from the get-go.
This is the problem with having a play that you use, is everybody sees it, they can add it to their playbook. So it is entirely possible that 93 is going for that same play. Here we see this obelisk about to flip over, and should be entering that any moment now. There it is, flips blue. So I can't tell. Wow. Timing of these obelisks is roughly similar. No team has a big advantage there. I don't think any team is going to snap an obelisk here from the opposing side. It does look like a bunch of marches are on their way to the Shrine of Life, and mirrored action here to the Sky Altar. Looking to the top side of the map. We'll see where those lines are going. Not a lot going to the northern Shrine of Life. A lot going to the Sky Altar, however, from GT. That is a weird asymmetry of action.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more from 60GT going towards this top side. Just looking at the dots, a lot of people going to Desert Altar, a lot of people going to their own Sky Altar, and towards the bottom side Shrine of Life, there aren't that many people. Even the Desert Altar feels like they're a little bit lacking. So heavy topside presence, I feel, Fiscal, coming from 60GT.
Yeah, and honestly, kind of a wide spread of these marches first arriving to Desert Altar and last arriving. Kind of remarkable, and it's even Cavs that are kind of slow here. We'll try to get a peek at the combinations that are being used in the field for folks that are interested in potentially picking that up. But we do see possibly a triple Cav setup from GT using XY as a primary for one of those marches.
Yeah, just the openings are so important to get the troops out there, to get the damage out there. So having cavalry, especially when you have so many sets of gear, in the beginning of the match makes sense just because of how far the walks are before you teleport in. So I feel like 60GT using these cavalries is a no-brainer.
T1's still kind of roaming around here after having captured the initial structures. Wonder kind of what they're up to. Maybe just a little bit of scouting. Sentries have been placed in a number of strategic locations here, both defensively, as we see here on 93's side, and also some offensive sentries. I suspect we could go find those. Wait a minute. Is this rally actually going to connect? That actually happening? No, rally broke. Okay. So Cavs scattered into the back line here. Several different marches. Looks like those are maybe stopping teleports, actually. That's kind of funny. You want to
It looks like they're
teleport there?
trying-
Nope.
They're trying to block the closest teleports to the desert altar, just trying to disrupt the teleportation of 60 GT, which is, a strat that we've seen from different kingdoms and even different servers in the Chinese server.
Yep.
So we'll have to see if that'll pay off dividends if 93T will be able to take this desert altar from them because of the lack of teleports.
Yeah, I mean, even so, we talked at the start about how every detail is sorted. That includes exactly where you're supposed to teleport. Exactly where you're supposed to teleport. I mean, if you haven't been handed a map from your Osiris planner with little circles showing you exactly where everybody's supposed to TP, you haven't been playing as competitively as you could. These teams have every single detail sorted. They are moving in on the Sky Altar now, and the fight is happening also at the Desert Altar. Presumably, we see a Desert Altar fight over here as well. Looks like there's a little bit of Captain woes here. Huo Captain now switches over to Hera. And 93 is looking very solid at this Desert Altar, which we might have anticipated given the spread of marches that we saw, right?
Yeah, the teleports being later, the spread of marches, the lack of priority from 60GT towards his bottom side really reflects what's been going on, and there hasn't really been a counterattack from 60GT. There's so many marches around this Sky Altar. I feel like 60GT, remember Chisco, I was talking about how 93T usually likes to take these outer lane structures. I feel like 60GT tried to ride or try to look at 93T and say, hey, you're probably going to try for our outer lane Sky Altar. We're going to send so many marches out there, but 93T just never came. They played super standard, and that they were able to take the Desert Altar because of it.
A good insight here, and a good opener for sure for 93. They've got to be happy with how this is going so far. Although I feel like, unless they may get first capture points on this. A minute 30 would give them a nice advantage here if they're able to get it. I don't know that they will. There's a bunch of folks going to the Shrine of Life. I mean, honestly, I would say the game so far is characterized by 93 structure aggression.
93 structure aggression, 60GT's kind of misread of 93T's aggression. I didn't really see too many sentries in the beginning of the game, Chisco, so it was pretty blind where 60GT brought their marches, just going off of insight, going off of what they've been watching, all the VODs. But unfortunately for them, 93T did not go to that Sky Altar. There were so many marches, Chisco, that took the Walk of Shame in Ark of Osiris, which is walking back without sad facing. And because of that, 93T has had a pressure advantage so far this match.
We're about to see a Tariq ibn Ziyad with Pakal rally connect with the Desert Altar. It's an interesting rally to use because your DPS is very low, and they've only got 30 seconds to get this thing sorted out if they're going to have a contention. Does look like 93T is bringing fresh marches to support this, but that 12x from GT, undeniable. Yeah. 21 seconds left, they flip that thing over. No big deal. So they're able to secure that, and I think it's pretty unlikely we'll see another change of hands there. Certainly not enough to get the first capture. So I think first cap points are going to be delayed for GT, but ultimately evened out.
Yeah. All things considered, great response from 60GT. They denied the first capture points, which is exactly what they needed to do. And now they could confidently go mid with the arc spawning in about 4 minutes here, Chisco. Actually, pretty late rotation compared to, how important this first arc is, how much priority these teams usually put in. Usually you see teams go in 5 minutes, but being a minute late, I feel like 60GT, though, because of the priority they put into this middle rotation, they will have first rotate in this match.
Yeah, 93 is very late to this. If GT realized this, I sort of wonder how they would handle this differently, or if maybe they know it. But 93 is super late here, and they are even still pressuring outside. I mean, to me, the fact that Shrine of Life is still getting pressured signals to me that maybe they're going for a swing back on this arc rather than a first cap. They're late. There are other places. I mean, you can't beat GT in that situation. So it's got to be intentional, right?
So you're calling 93T planning to pull a 93T
Yeah.
on this arc?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think so. I mean, look at how late they are. And now, I don't know when this sentry dropped. Now, certainly they've got vision. And we can even flip this over here. Right, so they can kind of see what's going on. But not totally. They can't see. They don't know, because of this placement, they don't actually know what's back here. And they don't realize, hey, wait a minute. That's all they got. Now, more is coming. We'll see. These guys are a little spread out, but they're probably get that sorted. Oh, wow. The two sentries do have vision of each other. And GT's sentry is about to fall. Good play here by 93 taking out the vision. I can show you that updated visual range here. It is meaningful. Wow. Nice play. 93 still not having the sort of presence I would have anticipated. And that's because they're taking outside structures. They've got the Sky Altar too. So 93 might actually be going for a swing back on the arc while also playing buildings here.
Yeah, it's different from what we've been seeing throughout the season. Not going all in for the arc. 93T saying, hey, we're gonna put our chips all over the map. We're, instead of betting on one thing, we're gonna be betting on a bunch of different areas here. And 60GT, now they have to kind of figure out which structures they want to hold, which structures they want to give up here, as 93T have marches on literally every single 60GT structure right now.
I mean, GT doesn't see this, but this tight cluster of marches could represent something like Sneaky Tactics about to drop.
Yep.
It just seems weird that there's some people just barely within vision. There it is. Yeah, boy Cheese called it. Sneaky Tactics. And with that, they've gone invis. Where will they go?
I seem to be a little bit ahead of you, Chisco, but yeah, Sneaky Tactics used by 93T, and I'm not exactly too sure what they're planning to do with this. Perhaps just sow some doubt in 60GT's mind, like, hey, there's some invisible marches somewhere in the map. But yeah, if we look at the points per minute, 700 points per minute compared to 270 points per minute right now. This is a big commitment from 60GT, and 93T is saying, hey, you're all gonna go mid. We're gonna just take all the other structures outside of the Desert Altar and the Shrine of War. So
to me, this looks like 93 is perhaps gambling that GT would have rotated out of the middle here, and then they would take the arc anyways. I think this is going to be a full contention from 93, because it doesn't look like they're going somewhere else. Yeah. I think they were hoping GT would leave this arc with a fractional force, because they figure, these guys went invisible, they went somewhere else. So GT plays this really well here, keeps everybody on the arc, and I think that is a great plan. 93 is still leaving their marches in stealth here, hoping that GT might abandon the carrier, which they're not doing. So GT is just playing this incredibly well.
Yeah, the marches have stealth for 2 minutes here. So I think they're just gonna have a certain amount of players. Okay, this player hits, everyone else stays. This player hits, everyone else stays. So I think ultimately this will be a win for 93T because of the amount of marches 60GT have in the middle here, and then 93T can kind of use the march advantage elsewhere on the map, because, you know, this being an even game, this is essentially a game of where you put pressure and when you put pressure. 60GT just don't have knowledge of how many marches are actually here from 93T, so they have to escort this arc this whole time, while in the rest of the map you can see the Desert Altar is getting swarmed down, and the marches that would usually be defending that are right now defending the arc.
I think GT made a really smart choice engaging that group of 93 players that were in the south, they really sort of forced 93 to either come out of stealth or ultimately just get chewed up with 50% of their force battling into the full GT force. I think GT did that really well. It's really chaotic here right now in the middle. And it, weirdly enough, a bunch of GT is peeling off from the middle. And I would not say this arc is really safe yet.
60 GT, though, they're just getting pressured in so many different areas in the map. They're probably saying, hey, like, we took out that south murder ball. The stealth marches, there could only be up to 30. So we're going to take the call. We're going to go ahead and try to retake our desert altar, try to lick our wounds, because right now, even if the arc is captured, Chisco, the game would be even, and the points are still going towards 93T's favor. If we look at the points per minute, 820 points per minute to 40 points per minute right now, Chisco. This is absolutely absurd for this early in the match.
Yeah, it's honestly an unprecedented amount of structure dominance for 93 at this stage of the tournament. It is very unusual to see such a one-sided points per minute. And it's actually a jaw-dropping differential here every single minute for 93. And I guess they really did need to peel those marches off from middle, and they didn't. Not soon enough.
It's just there's so much mind play, gameplay that went into that. The whole reason why 93T used that sneaky tactics was to deny as much vision as possible for 60GT. 60GT just left the murder ball in the middle because they didn't know how many actual marches were in mid. So 93T taking that advantage, taking the desert altar, taking the shrine of life, taking the shrine of war, allowing them to make this huge of a margin. Chisco, I feel like 30 seconds ago I said they were up by 3k. Now they're up by 4k.
Yeah, it's gonna happen real fast here. I mean, every 60 seconds there is now 920 points per minute to 70. I mean, wow. That GT is on a crisis of a time crunch to get this sorted out. And it does look like they're on their way to that. 770 points per minute now for 93. They flip this Sky Altar back. I mean, once this map evens up, which it's about to do, the point differential will not be as scary. But it still takes 3 minutes for these things to flip back. Well, I guess 2 minutes. And they don't have a captain yet, so double C, that ain't it. There we go. See, the captain gets swapped in. Eleanor is here. But it's still 590 to 70. That is not the point differential you want. At least if you're 60 GT. If you're 93, you're sitting there. You got your hands steepled, and you're tapping your fingers together, and you're going, yes, this is exactly how we dreamed it up.
I think, if anything, Chisco, the 60 GT planners, everything should stabilize. The altars still need to flip, which is why there is going to be a point gain advantage to 93T, but all the structures are now in 60 GT's favor. Now the question is, does 60 GT hold the arc, which they usually do, or are they going to start forcing more arcs to kind of change the pace of the game here? Because right now, even when they capture the arc, they will be down by 2k.
93T popping energetic here is a good signal that perhaps they should just score the arc right away, because they've got to have a nearly full bar at this point.
They did. I think I'm a little bit of ahead, but there were 93T marches just running towards that arc, and it looks like they decided to capture the arc.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Wow. Yeah, I think something's got to change here, and catching 93 right after they've used energetic would kind of be the time to do it. Stocking up for 93. Wow. Yeah. So they did rip the play out of the 60 GT playbook.
Yeah, I mean, this was predicted as soon as we saw, I think, 6-7 gathering marches come out for 93T. There are 60 GT marches trying to snipe these marches, but stocking up used by both teams here. So it looks like there won't be an advantage either way.
Wow, there it is. Stocking up for GT. I mean, gosh, you almost sort of wonder if 93 sits down and they're like, all right, the enemy thinks we're going to do this, so we'll do this other thing instead. And then when we do this one thing, they're probably going to think we're going to do this, so they're going to do this other thing. So we're going to prepare for the other thing. You know, it's like the mind games of guessing what your opponent will do is just next level.
And I think that's just possible because of the new replay system, Chesco. With all the games being available to watch and replay and study, all the teams could kind of just watch back 60GT's matches, 93T's matches, and see what they do. So there's so much preparation, so much more homework that each of these teams can do, and it's paying off right now for 93T, and we'll see if 60GT can strike back.
Yeah, I will add that all of this mystery comes from the addition of the Fog of War.
Yeah.
And once you have the Fog of War and also the ability to play things back to see what actually happened, you can get a lot of information from those replays. You're spot on there. So even a match you literally just played, you might wonder what just happened, right? Like, how did they do that? And you can watch the replay and see it back. It's a big deal. This Sky Altar, incredible defense right now from 60GT. I mean, I started to spectate it with the expectation that, you know, we wouldn't be here very long, because it would flip sides and we'd look at something else. But here we are. Incredible hold from GT, reminding everybody, hey, look, we know how to do this. That is insane.
The march swapping double C's just sprinting from home, going into the Sky Altar. About like, I think a 40-second walk for the closest marches that I'm seeing right now. So, you know, just having the exact combinations, you know, double C with whomever they choose. I think they have Honda in the back sometimes. They have Julius Caesar in the back sometimes. So just being so precise with even the reinforcement marches, allowing them to hold the Sky Altar.
Yeah, what an impressive defense here from 60GT. I mean, that is textbook right there with the fast marches and the swap outs. And get a look around here. They did, however, lose their Shrine of War. You know what hasn't really happened much? This is pretty noteworthy. You haven't seen 93 lose a lot of buildings. Not the ones that are on their side of the map, right? I mean, this match is like characterized by 60GT on defense, no?
Yeah, it's been, I mean, 60GT seen as a defensive team, defending their structures, aggressing when they can, but winning through mids and holding their structures. But 93T, this match has been omnipresent, Jisco, just all over the place. If you send an extra march in one place, 93T will have an extra march in another place, and they're able to take those structures with those extra one or two marches, which is how they've been able to make this point differential right now. But all things considered, with all the good things 93T has been able to do, they are only up by 3.2k, the arc being 3.5. So this next arc will mean everything.
By capping the arc early, they leave for themselves a lot of options in GT. Right? If things are going sideways, they can just get a bunch of arcs and have that carry them through. I think that seems to be the game plan right now.
Yeah. It's funny seeing there's 60 GT marches just trying to snipe the provisioners from 93T, but 93T just have so many marches provisioning right now. I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9-3T marches that were provisioning. So although the stocking up, they were trying to deny the stocking up points for this mid fight, I don't think they'll be too much in the disadvantage with it was Honda with Belisarius Belisarius Prime was the Barb or the Provisioner killing march.
Oh yeah, what a march for that too. Belly Prime that's what he's there for, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. This mid fight will mean everything. I'm just gonna be so curious because this is gonna be our first time in the international server, at least, seeing two teams use stocking up and perhaps using 12 points of skills. Silent Flow from 93T using an early total vision already, perhaps because their skill bar was going to cap out here. With 1 minute 30 seconds left in this temple for the arc to spawn, rather, this mid fight is gonna be everything.
I'm spectating off to the side right now, waiting for that mid fight to unfold. So you call it when things are going on in the middle. I'm looking at the Sky Altar here, and the Sky Altar is super contentious. 93 looking to just play buildings for yet another arc, perhaps.
Yeah, it's you have to keep in mind, right? They're getting these buildings with not that many troops. You could see the Sky Altar. There are a lot of marches there, yes, but there are also a lot of 60 GT marches, and it's kind of a trade, right? Where you're trading pressure off mid towards the Sky Altar, but then 60 GT is also trading pressure in response. So whoever takes that structure will ultimately be the winner, similar to like a mini arc, if you will. So 93T able to flip that, able to create more of a point advantage for themselves as this mid fight gets closer and closer with 30 seconds left for this arc to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a best case scenario for 93 that not only does GT have a lot of marches committed here, but it's 93 that's holding the building. That is really ideal for 93 here. Big commitment from GT while still flipping the points to 93, and they're doing the same thing at the Shrine of Life here, which, by the way, gives them a nice little advantage for the mid fight.
Arc is about to spawn, Chiss, and 93T looks like they're gonna do the sneaky tactics again with 2 different murder balls for this arc fight.
I mean, it worked.
Yes.
Yeah, it worked the first time. Let's just run it back.
Run it back, indeed, as sneaky tactics on this top side. Some marches not being able to get sneaky tactic, but that's all good. And it's looking like they're going to be walking side by side with this arc, just trying to delay the arc capture and take as many buildings as possible in the meantime.
Yeah, they are literally running it back in the exact same formation that we saw last time. I feel like, gosh, if you're GT here, you really want to engage this southern ball, and take the forces as a split. But what 93 is doing is one at a time, coming out of stealth, I think, and just preventing the carrier from getting very far. This is an interesting strategy here.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a distraction strategy, Chisco, where now they took the Desert Altar, they've been able to flip the Sky Altar back and forth, so they're just creating a point advantage for themselves while keeping marches mid. That's the biggest thing, keeping as many 60 GT marches mid as possible, keeping them honest. And now if 60 GT tries to rotate over, perhaps they will try to 90T the arc. So it's just such a hard play for the 60 GT, because with this grand finals, all the counts are the same. So every single march matters, right? Every single place that you put your march, every single thing that you do matters, because essentially both these teams should be exactly even. So now that 60 GT is starting to rotate towards the Desert Altar, all of the marches come out of stealth, and this arc is up for contention yet again, Chisco.
Yeah, it's not even all the marches, though. I think there are a few maybe still in stealth. Not exactly sure. I feel like what 93 is doing here is mostly just stalling in the middle.
Yep.
But now they actually have a lot of marches here. Hold on. Wait. Let me zoom this out. Is 93 about to win this arc? Actually?
I mean, they're definitely stalling it out. There's definitely a lot of there's marches from 60GT that are rotating from spawn, from the teleport spots in the obelisk towards this mid fight. So if anything, it's delaying and taking marches away from the desert altar, which is about to flip 4 points from 93T. It's taking marches away from the sky altar, which 93T is continuing to aggress on with a rally. So it's tough. It's going to be tough for 60GT because there's just so many pressure points, so many places that 90T is attacking them at right now.
That is wild. GT does look like they're going to have that arc secured and on its way. But at what cost? The points per minute are yet again at a shocking 800 to 230. I guess they've just got to cap this thing right away and go for more arcs, right? They have to.
Yeah. I mean, if they cap this thing right away, let's see what the points would be at, right, Driscoll? It's pretty much, I guess we could call it like a 5.7k advantage, rounded up to 6k advantage if you really want to, for 93T. The arc will give 3.5, so they'll be up by about 2.5k. 90T will be. So if that's the case, if 60GT capture this arc, they run it back, they're able to win another mid fight, then they would actually be in the advantage right now. So I feel like 60GT's game plan should just be running back these arc fights over and over and over again and see if 90T will actually commit to one, because right now with the way that they're playing, there's no other way to do it, because 90T is just taking all of these structures over and over and over again.
It is wild. This is an impressive showing here. And this is exactly the kind of gameplay we're here to spectate. And for those of you hanging out in the audience, looking for a little something extra, I've actually got a gift code for you. I'm going to drop that on screen now. You can enter that in game for a few extra goodies. Thanks for joining us today on this Ark of Osiris League cast and spending your Sunday with us. This game is pretty hype. I mean, this is about as hype as you could expect this matchup to be. We're seeing some unexpected stuff, and GT, one of the most experienced teams around, is having to react to some unexpected plays from 93.
Yeah, I mean, 93T, omnipresent, is that's going to be the word that I use whenever they play Ark of Osiris, because they always have someone pressuring something somewhere, and that there's always going to be a feeling behind when you play with these players, play against them. It's like, if we don't win decisively in one area, then they're going to slowly win out in other areas. 60GT capturing the Ark, which is exactly what we were talking about. The score now being is that mental math, just go. It's a 3k advantage right now for 93T. So the next arc being worth 4k, the question is, will 93T run it back again, or will they actually full commit for the arc this time?
Well, this brings us to an interesting question, and chat, help us out here. What skill do you think is left on the bar for 93? What two skills do you think are left on the bar for GT? Drop it in the chat. And Plato, what do you think?
Man, I don't know. What's perhaps it's gonna be to the death for one of these skills from 60GT. I'm not exactly too sure, because I think 60GT is waiting for to the death for a decisive arc, and 93T has not committed to a decisive arc this whole time. So if 93T wants to rotate for an arc, I'd probably guess to the death is going to be one of the skills for 60GT. Perhaps bog down as well. Those are the usual skills that you see for mid fights, and there just hasn't been a mid fight for 60GT to use those skills on. For 93T, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's a master strategies, with how they like these mind games, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's to the death as well.
Yeah, we do see chat saying master strategy in multiple instances here, so I think it would make sense. To the death I think also could be super reasonable for GT, and Heaven's Grace, extremely popular. A lot of good options here, but it'll be a mystery for the time being. But because we probably have, if GT wins the next arc, 2 more arcs in total, still a lot of opportunity for those skills to be used. Look at that, pressure on the Shrine of War. Big commit from 93, and they flipped that thing over.
I'm a little bit of ahead. 60GT using stocking up again for this mid fight. So it's going to be, yet again, Gatherers being the difference maker in this game. It does look like there are Gatherers from 93T as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of these teams decide to use stocking up yet again for this arc.
Wow. So could be a lot of action there, and it is very, I think, important to note that both teams here are using 2 economy-oriented skills on the bar. That's a big commitment. 1/3 of the bar committed to economy. So that means you really value those other 4 skills you've got on the bar.
Yeah. Honestly, if it comes down to straight up mid fight, I'm not too sure if 93T would be able to win with their skills. I know a lot of teams do use sneaky tactics for mid fight sometimes. We saw 489 separate out the Archer Marches, for example, all the Zhuge Liang Herman Primes, put them into a murder ball of just Archer Marches, and then not sneaky tactics to those marches for the extra damage, but straight up with the skills that we've seen so far, because of sneaky tactics and a potential master strategies being that question mark, I think that's why they haven't been committing to these mid fights just well. I think that's why they're just so building focused, and with the way that the game is going right now, 60GT have a chance to come back if they capture this arc and then capture a second one like right away. It's gonna be so close.
This is an interesting match, the way it's unfolded. So unusual. 93 has the point advantage here. They keep widening the gap. They've got a 4K advantage and growing. GT can't get these arcs to spawn in fast enough, honestly. And I think your observation, by the way, is bang on, that it doesn't really look like 93 has the skills on the bar to take a mid fight. I mean, I would expect Master Strategist is the final pick on that bar, right? We just don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting... This is like a clash of styles, clash of 2 different games, buildings versus mid. We've seen this play out in matches. The one being, the one I'm thinking of being WIB versus JST in the realm of Horus. But seeing this in the grand finals is so interesting because it shows that there are 2 different ways that teams can play the game, and we'll have to see which one will prevail in this first game of the best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that the grand finals here does have equipment and armaments makes it so that gathering is a lot more relevant. Yeah. Right? Because you can get that equipment that gives you that gathering speed boost, which is pretty nice. So I think you can really gather a very meaningful amount of the caravans here, and we actually can maybe get a peek at that. We do see 93T with triple the provision score of GT.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, with how much they committed in the opening, just seeing that many gathering marches come out of the gates, I'm not surprised with 93T's commitment to gathering. And it's not only the points, but also the skill points, the skill bar that they gain with stocking up. We've been talking about the stocking up skill, but just in case the viewers at home don't know what it does, is when the skill is active, provisioners, so gatherers, actually give you extra points towards your energy bar, so you're able to do some shenanigans such as use 12 points for a mid fight, and we'll have to see if these two teams decide to do so in this mid fight.
Pretty hyped to see what happens here. This could be the arc where we see big skills get thrown down. There's Dust Up for 93T, mirrored by GT. So those guys probably, their bars are filling up, so they got to spend down a little bit. 1 minute till arc spawn here. A little bit of a tussle going on. Perhaps this is a couple marches caught out. Oh, maybe they're just going for that gathering march? Hard to say.
Yeah, this is actually the least amount of marches 93T has brought to mid. Not even having a murder ball, 2 sneaky tactics here. So I'm gonna be surprised to see. I'm gonna be curious to see what 960 does here. They do have a murder ball around this arc, but Chiskel, if there's any arc that is 93Table, I think it might be this one because of the amount of marches all around the map. 60GT, seeing the past couple of arcs, seeing the trends of 93T going building focus once the arc spawns, perhaps not 60GT will let their foot off the gas here and allow them to take this arc on the swing back. We'll have to see.
GT is in an incredibly precarious position. They have to commit less to the middle because they're losing too many buildings. But they have to win the middle because they're losing too many buildings. So they're in a really difficult spot. Arc spawns in. GT with the take.
But there are just so many 93T marches around here. I mean, the thing is, 93T, they don't necessarily even have to capture this arc. They just have to deny it for as long as possible, so that 60GT will have even less time to capture that fourth arc that they're trying to get. With the score being a 6k point differential, Chiskel, this arc will be 4k for 60GT if they capture it, but they will still be down by 2k. So they need to get a fourth arc to win this game, and I don't know if that would be possible for them with the amount of time available in this game, and with 93T just continuously harassing these arc carriers, continuously slowing down the arc carriers. It's going to be tougher and tougher for 60T to capture this and capture the fourth arc as well.
Yeah, I mean, you really can tell that 93T is just playing a different game here. They're not really committing to this fight. They're just sending in the least amount of marches necessary to make the arc drop. And then they dance around and wait. When it gets picked up, they make it drop again. And they just do that over and over. And that's what we're seeing here. Just delaying the arc as much as possible. Let that building game cook up.
Yeah, they are just tapping the marches over and over and over again. And Chiskel, I mean, there are some marches coming from this top side. And to be honest, this is quite a couple of marches coming from 93T towards this arc. And I would not be surprised if they, continue this game of tapping this arc, of contesting this arc. And there are actually some 60GT marches rather rotating to the bottom side to the desert altar, with a bunch of 93T marches coming from the top side. I would be pretty scared if I was 60GT's arc carrier right now, with the amount of 93T marches coming around to this right side of the arc.
Yeah, there is real danger that 93 has forced such a small contingent to guard the arc that they can whittle it down and then, boom, take the carrier and bring the arc to their own side, which is potentially about to unfold on screen. And we know 93's got the vision of this situation, so they know exactly what they're walking into here.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Chiskel, if they do have master strategies, I feel like this is one of the arcs where you can commit master strategies just to secure the game. If they capture this arc, the game is secure. There's no way that 60GT could come back from an 11 point differential. So we'll have to see if they continue to delay this arc. I would not be surprised if they do have master strategy on the bar, if they decide to use it on this arc.
And I think the longer this goes on, the more likely it is that Master Strategy is that final skill on the bar. Right? Like the longer that skill sits there unrevealed, the more likely it is to be that one skill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Chisco, because if they did have Master Strategy, I feel like they would have used it already when the top side marches were rotating over and taking that arc. So I'm pretty sure they don't have Master Strategies, because if they took this arc, that would have been the game for them, right, Chisco? Like if they brought in this 30 marches teleported over from Master Strategies, they would have been able to capture the arc, be able to win the game, and it would have been wraps. But the fact that they chose not to do so means that they don't have Master Strategies on the bar, in my opinion, or they just didn't have enough skill points to use it.
It's totally possible. The, weirdness of that skill is that you only get to do it once. So you better get it right if you do it, Yeah. And I think almost the threat of the skill adds value to the team's position.
That's true.
So in some ways, you almost want to just to be able to threaten to have it, make your opponent play different. But GT, they don't really have the luxury of playing around anything anymore. They just have to stabilize and get this arc. And they have to do both of those things, by the way.
Yeah.
The first time we see a GT offense mounting, I feel like I can't remember the last time they were on this side of the map. Start of the game?
Yeah, I mean, Chisco, 60 GT is down by about 4.5k, 4.4k. And if the lead keeps growing, we're talking about this fourth arc as if it's going to save 60 GT, but it will only give 4.5k points, if I remember correctly, right? With last arc gave 4k, increases by 500 each arc. So 4.5k. This will, if they capture the next arc, it'll only make the game even. So they definitely need to stabilize, especially with the Sky Altar of their own Sky Altar generating points for 93T is such a detriment to them. It's going to be really, really tough. And it's not like they could win off provisions, because 93T this whole time has been provisioning as well. So they have to stabilize their structures right now. Just go.
Yeah, they've got to find something, and that needs to be in the form of an offensive play here at this point. They've got not a lot of time to do it as well. 7 minutes till this arc spawns means it's this volley, this wave of attacks has to work before then they have to commit to the middle.
Yeah, it's looking rough right now. I mean, we'll have to see if they have 2k, 1k, 2k worth in provisions. They capture the arc. There is a world where something magical happens, but I mean, this is just a masterclass from 93T with the building game and how they manipulated the arcs. I've never seen a team just win double pretty much 60 GT's occupation score to 28,000 points compared to 15,000 for 60 GT. It feels like the Sky Altar has been in 93T's hands more than 60 GT, and that's their own Sky Altar. So this game's just been such an anomaly for Rise of Kingdoms, because we've been seeing so many teams go mid-focus, and 93T showing that it is possible to contend for a win, at least with the building game.
I mean, one thing we do need to speak to is that 2k difference on provision scores. 2,700 to 700 is a brutal differential right now. And so 93 has been doing this while provisioning. Right? So they're not just dominating the structures, they are also doing it with a hand tied behind their back in terms of the quantity of marches they're using to do it with. The only secret that could be up GT's sleeve would be if there are still a ton of GT provisioners that never went home, despite having the caravan skill on the bar that would have rewarded them, I think, for turning them in. No?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised too, because we're talking about this Shisco. 60 GT is a team that brought this caravan skill to the radar. 60 GT is the team that, you know, won against 2489 in their Realm of Anubis finals with that play. But 93T just able to yoink it and twist it to even create a point advantage for themselves with provisions. So I think everything has to come down to this arc. Everything has to come down to holding their structures for the last 8 minutes and capturing this arc, and perhaps, you know, having a hero provisioner out there that could make the point differential.
GT, huge commitment to this Sky Altar here to flip it back. And 93 actually turning around at this point. So it looks like they might regroup. A ton are still moving in, but just a lot of GT players are being forced to defend that Sky Altar while still needing to go middle. So far, literal zero commit from 93 to go mid is really unusual. So I think what 93 is doing here is they're like, all right, we delayed them on the other ones. This time, we savage those buildings, man. Everybody hits all the buildings, nobody in the middle. Maybe? I don't know. I feel like you got to have a show of force to keep GT honest and staying there. We'll see. Maybe they'll master strategy their way to the middle. Who knows?
Sneaky tactics into master strategy or something crazy like that is in 93T's playbook. We've seen them do something like that.
They could do both. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, you could sneaky tactics in, master strategies out. It's an arc heist we've seen in games this season, actually. But in my opinion, 93T just doing what they do best. You were talking about how the Sky Altar was flipped. As soon as the Sky Altar flipped, Jisco, the Desert Altar flipped as well of 60 GT. So they traded Altar for Altar, ultimately not really being too much of a difference for 60 GT. And yeah, it's just been this building game. And it's so funny, Jisco, every single arc, there's less marches going mid, less marches going mid. Now I feel like there's like 3 people from both sides mid.
It's really unusual. It's like the opposite of what we're used to seeing, right?
It's like they're playing Champions of Olympia here. This is a Champions of Olympia murder ball right now. With how few marches are mid right now. With this arc meaning the most, having the most amount of points. And Jisco, I'm seeing a lot of blue marches coming to mid right now. From the top side. From the bottom side, rather.
It's possible they're able to sneak this. Oh, wow. This obelisk was literally empty. All these people were walking by it. Nobody took it back. It almost flipped GT, or maybe it did for a second. I was keeping an eye on that just to see, like, hey, are we going to see people teleport over? I don't know what it would accomplish, but that option has now been closed. The door closed for that. GT committing a little more to middle, getting a little panicked, I think, on the 93 presence here. Which makes sense. Yeah, they have vision of it.
Yeah, both teams have vision of each other. So both teams will be acting with full knowledge of what each other are doing. But in my opinion, I feel like there's more marches from 93T, although they are getting cut off from the left side here from 60T. A great play from them. But yeah, this is actually going to probably be the deciding mid fight for this game, as sneakily, while we were looking at this, Jisco, 93T is up by about 7k.
Yeah, I think it's already decided, actually.
This is for pride.
With 5 minutes left, GT would need to own buildings, out provision, and get this arc. So it doesn't look like it's happening.
They'd have to have a godlike provisioner. Sneaky tactics used mid here. So, I mean, honestly, before this, I saw the merit of sneaky tactics. But 93T, I feel like, have used sneaky tactics in such a way that is so masterful. They are using master strategies, Jisco. They are going for the arc heist. They actually got first pull, I believe, as well. Will they be able to get out with this arc? Will they be able to steal it from under 60 GT's nose?
Okay, so they're
60 GT.
They're invisible. And they're taking the arc. This is crazy.
This is a flex from them.
I don't know Oh no, yeah, GT's got the arc here. Well,
Yeah,
cute.
they tried. they tried.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the value in that play, given the scoreboard position.
I think they're just practicing for next game.
I guess they're just practicing. Because that was not a... I mean, I know it's called, you know... It was not IMO the most masterful choice of play.
Of strat. It was not
and
the
given how
strategies,
masterfully they've
for
executed
sure.
everything this game, you're right. They must just be kind of goofing off at this point. Because with the scoreboard differential being what it is, I think they've got this pretty locked up here. Yeah. I don't think I would have used Master Strategist there. I don't think I even would have showed it was on the bar, honestly. I don't know. Like, what is the value of that play? Win more? You only got to win by 1 to be the winner. Too savage, chat says.
I feel like
Flexing,
that was
chat
just
says.
a potential demoralizer if they stole that arc. Imagine just
I don't
winning
know.
every arc. But yeah, I think that was just a for fun play, perhaps trying to get some extra testing for the timing for the next match. Because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a best of 3. So this is only game 1. Even if 93T do take this game, which it does look like they will, 60GT will be able to respond. And we'll keep in mind 60GT did lose their first game in the best of 3 against 2049 as well. So they do know how to come back in a series, win the last 2 games to win the series, and we'll have to see if 60GT can come back.
I mean, imagine if they put Master Strategist onto the arc now, right? Like,
Yeah.
now they would be cooking, you know? And they have vision. They know. They would have known. I don't know. I just, you know, doesn't really matter. GT revealing Heaven's Grace here. Silent Flow from 93 activating Dust Up. Cool. GT did snap these buildings. That is the thing they needed to do. They are ahead on building point per minute here for the first time in a while. But obviously too little too late for that. They get this arc. It's going to give them a lot of points. Yeah, see, this is where I would have really loved to have seen the Master Strategist play come down, honestly. This crackback would have been insane.
Yeah, if they use Master Strategies here, even if they use Master Strategies in the last arc, just to capture that arc and deny the game there. But Chisco, look at the top side and look how many gatherers this Elyon person is bringing in. This is crazy how much provisioning points that they've been able to get. 93T, 4.4k provision, 4.6k points just from provisioning is absolutely insane from them. And I feel like that's super underrated.
It's pretty unprecedented in today's Arc League environment, right? Like, that's crazy.
5.3. This is insane. I mean, we'll see the final count. They're starting to send back their gatherers now for 93T, but I mean, hey, 60GT brought the gathering game to 2489, and 93T is like, hey, you know what? We're down. We're gonna gather as well, and we're gonna gather better than you. And this has just been an absolute masterclass from 93T.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from the moment the match started and we saw marches going in sort of an unexpected pattern that was not mirroring 93's movement, from that very first moment, 93 has just been doing things that seem to have caught GT off guard. And quite frankly, as spectators, I feel like it caught us off guard, where they, you know, went for buildings. And okay, we said if there was a team to do it, they're the ones. And not only did they do it, but they carried through all the way from start to finish. There it is, Cabo, 264,000 individual score as the MVP. Looking at 39,000 to 35,000 as the final score. Exact score, 39,111 to 35,716. And that 5,400 provision score to the 2,000 of GT. I mean,
oh my goodness.
That is the difference in the score here, right? Actually.
Yeah.
That's like the difference between these two teams. Is like, okay, GT scored 15,000 points worth of arcs, and that was offset by buildings, but then the W came from the provisions.
Yeah. What a first game of the series, Jiskel. Everyone be sure to subscribe to this channel, the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, for more Arc of Osiris Grand Finals content, because next week we'll have yet another game between these two teams.
And if you think that GT is just gonna fold in the next one, oh no. Historically, the team that lost comes back with something new and unexpected and takes the win. So it should be incredibly exciting to see what happens next week. So subscribe. Plato, it's been awesome casting with you. GG, well played. If you want to subscribe to either of our channels, you can check us out down below in the description. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week for the next game.